pretty insane. Happy Thursday, everyone. It's almost the weekend, and I can't wait. Emergency room, here I come. So a few days ago, we played tape of the incoming White House press secretary calling all of us racist. Roll it, Clarice.
Fox News was racist before coronavirus. They are racist during the coronavirus. Fox News will be racist after the coronavirus. So there is nothing new here.
So true. Now, this should upset me. I mean, what did I ever do to her? Well, other than oppress her by my very existence, since I'm a middle-aged white guy. Middle-aged. But we've never even met. I don't even know where she lives, unlike the Supreme Court justices. By the way, I'm mowing Brett Kavanaugh's lawn on Saturday. He pays me in beer. But once she becomes press secretary and is asked if she still thinks Fox News is racist, will she have an answer ready? Will it be an honest one, like, hey, that was just TV? Or will she dance around it like Liz Warren does at a bonfire to celebrate the end of winter? For a hint, let's take a look at a past Democratic debate featuring Old Joe when he still had a working brain and control of his bowels, and his now vice president before she wasn't hiding like a serial killer on the run.
It was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. You also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
I didn't see that coming. Harris calling Biden a racist. It was her only memorable debate moment besides getting crushed by Tulsi Gabbard. But did she mean it? She seems so sincere, and it's hard for her to seem sincere. Kat's hair is less fake. But she looked him in the eye, and she twisted the knife into that old white racist. You could feel it, but could she feel it? Did she mean it? It's quite an accusation, so I hope she took it seriously.
It was a debate.
Not everybody landed punches like you did, though.
It was a debate.
So you don't mean it?
It was a debate. That the whole reason, literally, it was a debate. It was called a debate.
I understand.
Everyone traveled to the debate. There were journalists there covering the debate.
It was a debate. Now, I happen to think Colbert had her on because he heard she'll laugh at anything, including him. But you get it, calling Biden racist was purely a theatrical device. You know, like a gun on the set of an Alec Baldwin movie. Nothing'll go wrong. To her, it's totally acceptable during a televised debate, whether it's true or not. It's okay to smear someone as racist if they make you the second most powerful person in the world, after Dr. Jill. She's got the prescription pads. She's a doctor. But it's the political equivalent of slamming a folding chair over the back of a competitor in pro wrestling. It looks devastating, but it's just part of the game. Except in politics, it can ruin you. With Harris, the chair's real, but the personality is still phony. So what does that example tell you? Well, if Jean-Pierre is ever asked by our very own dumb SOB, Peter Doocy, if she thinks he's racist, she'll likely say, that was in the past, Peter. Let's move on to real issues, which will reveal how little these flacks take their own opinions seriously. It's like if one of your friends started a rumor that you beat your wife and then said, hey, lighten up, just a joke. But here, calling people racist is a good career path. It's quite a racket, claiming everything's racist to get a really good job. I believe we're leading the world in really successful, oppressed people. So how many people who use the word racist are actually seriously thinking about it at the time? Has anyone ever responded to them, hey, could you please give a specific example of my racism and don't bring up slavery and Jim Crow, unlike Joe Biden or Davy Crockett, I wasn't born then. My guess is they'll be quieter than the set of Who's Talking to Chris Wallace.
Oh.
Just gonna stew in that. So now the word racist is meaningless because the people throwing it around made it meaningless. It's the semantic equivalent of the Fed printing too much money. The more they put it out there, the less value it has. Remember when white supremacists used to mean KKK? Now it's Larry Elder. And what happens when you end up running into someone you smeared as a bigot? Well, just like me interviewing a naked NBA player, it could get awkward. The height is a problem. Roll it.
Hi, I will have the cruelty-free potato chips, a extra vegan milkshake, and a side of the free-range kale.
Yeah, hey Deb, you don't remember me? You told HR that I was racist in that Zoom call.
Oh, that doesn't count. Zoom is not real.
I was in line for a big promotion.
Stop getting mad at me. Don't you know that getting mad at a woman is sexist?
You know what? You ruined my career. Take your chips.
I'm not paying for these because these potatoes were grown on indigenous land. See you later, racist.
Wow, Deb, that was amazing. Congratulations, we're making you vice president of the company.
Amazing! You're fired, racist.
Thank you for holding me accountable. Appreciate your time.
Dirtbag Deb. The crowd favorites. Meanwhile, the right once again learned from the left and found their own smear to drive them nuts. What came from the Disney controversy in Florida? One word, groomer. Before that, I always thought a groomer was the guy who did my bikini wax. Shout out to Julio. But now every lefty is a groomer because it's a mirror of what the Dems did with racist, or do. Every rich person, racist. Every white person, racist. Every Trump rally, racist. Everything on Fox, racist. Every dead president, every monument, every name of every school, every podcaster, every comedian, racist, racist, racist. So fine. Then every left-wing teacher is a groomer. Every left-wing Disney employee who wants gender studies taught to toddlers is a groomer. Everyone who defends the medicalization of confused kids, you're a groomer. Everyone who owned their own island and named their private plane the Lolita Express is... Okay, that's a bad example. But you get it. Groomer is the right answer to racist. You call us bigots, we call you a groomer. But it's going to get hard for the left to figure out who's left to call racist. Meanwhile, real racists get off scot-free. So ultimately, what should you do when you end up running into somebody who labeled you a bigot? Well, you sure as hell shouldn't reward them by making them vice president. That would be stupid. That would be very stupid, you groomer. Let's welcome tonight's guests. He's got the face of an 8th grader in his glove compartment. Host of the Guy Benson Show and Fox News contributor, Guy Benson. He's so shredded, I use him in the kitchen to grate cheese. Host of Can't Cancel, Rob Smith. Rob Smith. She's like a paper straw, thin, white, and she'll decompose in 2 months. Fox News contributor, Captain. And the last time he slipped and fell, the Grand Canyon appeared. My massive sidekick in the NWA World Television Champion and best-selling author, Karine.
Greg, it's like Guy Town plus Guy Town.
So it's Guy Town with a guy.
Yeah.
It's Guy Town.
Guy Town.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Sounds like a fun place to go this weekend.
Guy Town! It was a group of dudes, but now it's just one guy, and his name is Guy. Talking about news, watching baseball, and going boating. He's in his 30s, but he looks 14. Guy Benson Town! Ooh!
What? How much did you spend on those graphics? It was amazing.
$280,000. We had to let go 3 people from the cafeteria to make that.
Worth it?
Oh, it was worth it.
Yeah, worth
they didn't do very much, and they always stared at me, and you know they're not supposed to look me in the eye.
in your
They're so
rider.
close to retirement, but now they're getting their pension. Next time, don't look at me, okay? Where am I, Guy? Guy, here's the deal. The Kamala thing and the Jean-Pierre thing both have something in common in the sense that they're just playing a game. And when the game, when they cash out of the game, it's like no hard feelings. But you do call people racist. So is that just part of the game and we're just supposed to laugh it off because we're in the media? Or there are people that can't come back from that.
Yeah, and I think what was telling was the very last thing that we played in the clip from the incoming press secretary, where she went through the whole racist litany. She said, there's nothing new here. That's true. They have like 3 moves, and this is one of them. There's nothing new in smearing a bunch of people as racist, and like they're running out of real estate here. The American people aren't really buying it. The new poll-tested thing is ultra MAGA or whatever that means, right? It's like it's like a fundraising level for the RNC: silver, gold, platinum, and ultra MAGA. Right. That's sort of they're going to lean into it. And if you donate now, you get a free Trumpy bear or something.
Yes.
But they really have virtually nothing left, and so they throw out a very loaded word that is very offensive, and a lot of people just shrug and roll their eyes, and that's their fault.
Ultra mega sounds like something I get at the pharmacy. You know what I mean?
No.
No?
No.
Yeah.
Not making eye contact either.
Rob.
Yes.
Is it a fair correlation? Like when you saw people when they reacted to the phrase groomer, it was like this like a month ago, whatever, and they all freaked out. I found it highly entertaining because now they got a taste of their own medicine. I don't believe all liberals are groomers. Of course, that's ridiculous, but it was just fun.
No, it was fun because they were so triggered, right? This is the thing. Back to the Kamala Harris moment. That may be one of my favorite moments ever in Kamala Harris history. It's just like the camera goes in, it gets really quiet. It's like a telenovela. Like the music starts and she says, "I was that little girl."
Yes.
And then the T-shirts. Remember the T-shirts of her as a 12-year-old? They go up on the website like immediately.
Yes.
She said that.
How did that? That's so the fastest T-shirt company ever.
No, it was insane. And so the thing about calling everything racist is the best grift on the left. That guy that wrote Ibram X. Kendi, that wrote How to Be an Anti-Racist or whatever, gets $20,000 an hour to call white people racist. I really want that job. I would love that job.
Well,
guy, you're racist. Fox, pay me $20,000.
I'm not paying you.
I'll pay you to call him a racist. Stealing my sweater from the 5.
It's not allowed in Guytown.
Yeah, Guytown. Tyrus. Switch that question. What do you think the next smear is going to be? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, actually I did. The next time you make a shot at wrestling like that, you're going to be a smear in the bottom line. Have you ever taken a chair shot, Gutfeld?
No, but my point...
to say your point was it was fake.
I didn't say that. I carefully edited that line. I never said anything about fake.
Yeah, that's one of the realest things as it gets. There's no nice way to hit a guy over the head with a steel chair.
He takes this very personally. I have to be.
Have you ever been hit with a chair, especially when you're the big guy? They think you can take 4 or 5 of them because you're a big guy.
Are those real chairs?
You know what? No, you know what? They're not. And I'm going to bring one tomorrow night on the show. And I'm going to hit you with a little fake chair. But you racist.
Yes.
You get $20,000.
But with inflation, that's what, $6?
Yes.
Real quick.
Or half a Bitcoin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I lost a lot.
I know, me too.
They're saying everybody's racist, right? And it's a shame because it's usually people, right now, it's people in the black community who are getting these great jobs, who are attacking everyone, calling everybody racist, I think. But Sunny from The View, remember her?
Oh, yes.
She recently tried to tear down a black woman for being a Republican. She said a black Republican is an oxymoron.
Right.
That's about as racist as you get when someone's skin color determines the way they're able to think of their ideals, because apparently wanting small government and to keep most of your tax money, you can't be black and do that. I mean, taking ideologies away from a group is the definition of racism.
Yeah.
And it's not coming from the right. Guys not walking in and making a comment about me going, "What are you doing here, darky? Go outside and park my car."
Yeah.
I mean, but that is racist and horrible, and obviously we wouldn't see him anymore. Guytown would be destroyed. But but they're doing it live on TV,
Yeah.
in your face, and no one can question them on it because they use that blanket to say whatever they want. There is racism, but it's coming from the left attacking other minorities who have a different set of opinions.
Right.
And that's 10 times worse than someone putting a cross outside your yard, in my opinion.
You know, Dirtbag, another great turn is Dirtbag Deb.
Thank
That's
you.
not her.
I mean, I don't know who that ugly lady is.
It's like instant classic.
Yeah, I could never look like that.
What should, if Peter Doocy, which he should do, asks Jean-Pierre, like, hey, am I a racist? What should she say?
I don't think he should ask her if he's a racist. I think that the question would be, you know, can you be fair?
Right, and she
know?
can't.
So obviously she can't. I mean, I just think this is it's just gone so crazy because obviously, like you said, the word doesn't mean anything anymore. But it's obviously completely unserious throughout. If you look at Kamala, I'm actually starting to get jealous of Kamala because, like, if I wanted to just sit around and like not work and like just laugh at stupid stuff like that, I would have to do so many whippets. Like,
and you mean the drug, not the dog?
no, I meant the dog.
Okay.
Most people, like, she gets to do nothing, just sit around giggling. Like, that describes, like, every stoner who works in the back of a kitchen.
Right.
But she's the vice president.
Right, that's true.
That's the dream. It's just, again, remember this was supposed to be the return to normal?
Yeah, there's...
We have the president, a guy who doesn't know where he is.
Yeah.
And then we have the vice president who just sits around, she doesn't know what a joke is, at least.
No, she figures if she just keeps laughing at everything, it'll match a joke.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's like laughing on cruise control.
Exactly. That's true. That's true. No foot on the pedal there. Do they make that anymore? I don't know. I'm talking to myself because we must leave just for a short break. Up next, it feels like we're getting punked when the disinfo czar tweets stuff that's debunked. Great Abe!
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.